In this Minecraft video, I'm going to show you how to go from islands like this to islands just like this. And this is what you're going to be able to build by yourself by the end of this video. This is not clickbait. I have built all of this simply using Minecraft and WorldEdit, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this yourself as well. So what do you actually need to create a floating island? So we can go into a single player. The world type that we want to select is super flat, and in terms of customization we want to go down into presets and select the void and basically just use that one. So it's basically going to create a world with just air. Of course creative, and that's pretty much it. So we can create the world right now. We can change the game rule to daylight cycles to false. So what this basically is going to do is it's going to stop the time from changing. So as you can see, the sun isn't moving anymore. So if we do time set, we can do noon. As you can see, basically it's always going to be bright now. We can change this later, so it's not really an issue. And what I like to do also as well is to change the game rule of doing weather cycle. So basically, in this case, the weather is clear, there is no rain, and this basically sets the weather cycle to false, which means that in turn, we're not going to get some random rain coming here soon. What I like to do next is just to check what Y level we are. As you can see, we are at -50, which is actually quite low. So what I'm going to do is, with the use of WorldEdit, I can give myself a wand, and we can just move this platform up higher. So I'm going to do cut, and with F3, again, you can access this menu. So what I'm doing right now is I'm flying up, and you can tell by my Y position in the left top corner. As you can see, it's increasing. So I'm probably going to just stop roughly here at the level 60, and we're gonna going to paste this platform. Now, the way in which we can create floating islands is we need to create mountains so we can flip them so it looks like the bottom of the mountain. So we will need a much bigger platform, and to do this, I'm simply grabbing one end of the platform, flying over to the next one, and essentially you can fly here as far as you want, depending on how big you want your world to become. In my case, I'm going to leave it just here, and I'm going to do pause 2, which basically is going to set the second position as if I was to right click here, and then we can do set. Actually, small correction, if we fly up a little bit, that's going to give a bit more depth to this layer. As you can see, so this was our original position. We flow up a little bit, and you can see this platform is much thicker now. So we have a pretty big canvas. What can we do next? So that's a good question. So like I said, we can crack on with creating mountains, and the best way to do this is to just grab a few things, and let's say with the iron ingot, we're going to use, and you do have to use sand, so we do brush, sphere, and we're going to go for number 4, and we have to type out sand as well, and size, let's go sand number 4. So now if we right click somewhere, as you can see, a sand sphere is going to appear. So with flying islands, as you can probably imagine, most of them have to look somewhat similar, circular. So with flying islands, they do look best when they're circular. Of course, you can add a little bits like this, and again, maybe we're going to make it thick on this end. I think if we leave it at that, it should be okay. And essentially what we have to do now is just fill it out. So this area on the outside is going to be the outermost area of the island, and I like to build up this middle section a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing this by hand is just to give me more customization in terms of where I actually place this sand, so it's not as blocky if I was to be using the set command. So let's just finish this off a little bit. So, and just to give you a perspective of how steep this is, as you can see, we're standing next to the edge, and it really changes the perspective as to how big this island is. When we actually fly up, it seems like it's much smaller, but when we actually play on it, trust me, it's going to seem much bigger. So, to make this job a little bit easier now, we can change the sphere size to 6, obviously on a different tool. So now, as you can see, when I click, the sphere is much bigger. So again, we can basically just draw out a rough shape of the island. Don't be afraid to go crazy. The only thing I would suggest in this stage is to make sure you have one big middle spike or a mountain top in this case. And essentially what we want to do is just build up to it all the way around. So as you can imagine, this whole structure is going to be flipped upside down. So this is going to be the bottom of the flying island, and this is going to be your top, or your level 0, if you like. So basically this is where we're going to be living. You will see in a few moments what that looks like. Let's just finish this off. So as you can see, we have this very rough mountain-like structure, again with this middle spike showing us where the center of the island is roughly going to be. The things that I would advise you to look out for is what you can see, those little circles here. I do like to sometimes just drop this around so it makes it look less like it was handmade in WorldEdit. But once you get like this mountain structure, what I like to do is create some smaller spikes like this, or smaller hills. So I will go around the island and just create a few hills, if you like this. So I do this with the number 6 brush. I can do one in the middle here, one here as well, and I will make this one just slightly taller. And then what I like to do with the smaller one is to basically just fade them out a little bit, change the shape a little bit, makes them look a little bit more natural. And we can also create some smaller hills, smaller spikes, which also helps to. And again, don't be afraid here to experiment or go down, have a look. As you can see, this one is quite steep, but that is going to basically make the island look. So I am pretty happy with this island. I'm just going to add a few more bits here and there. Yeah. So we've created this mountain, or multiple mountains made out of sand. So what you want to do now, and the easiest way is, what we have to do now is we have to convert this from sand to stone, so it doesn't drop when we flip it over. So you want to make sure you fly above the peak, and you're outside of those both areas from this line and this line. And we want to go pos 1, which basically means we selected the first position. Then we want to fly over to the opposite side and drop all the way down. And here, so again, this is what I mean, you have to be outside. Imagine we had lines like this. So you have to be outside of this line, outside of this line, and you want to drop below the platform. And we want to select our second position. And then it gets pretty simple. So we have to do / replace sand to stone. And as you can see, we've just replaced it. And what I like to do now is to get rid of this platform. It's going to really help us make this shape. So what I like to do now is to get rid of this platform. So we're going to select this lower corner, and we're going to fly over to the opposite side. And on this side we can select the upper corner, and we can do set 0. So as you can see, we have gotten rid of the platform. What do we do now? So again, make sure you're below your structure and you really fly out, so you can select the entire thing. And once again, we can go position 1. We can fly over to the opposite side. And we can select the second position. Now, I really like to then go on top, so I'm close to the blocks, and I will do //cut. So essentially, it removes this whole structure from beneath us. Let's see. And it should get rid of it soon. Any second now. There we go. So we then have to flip up. So essentially, the top is going to become the bottom is going to become the top, and then we paste -a. So basically, without a. And as you can see, I've done this the wrong way around. So the mountain has been flipped, but as you can see, we are currently at level 200, so that is going to be way, way, way too high. So let's undo. And let's drop down to maybe -30-ish. That was a bit too much. Okay, so we can paste without air again. You can see I'm at level -42 now. Okay, so let's have a look as to what this looks like. So as you can see, this definitely does look much more like a flying island now. So we're starting to get somewhere. And as you can see, it has faded quite nicely in multiple areas, so it does look quite natural. And what we would like to do here in this case is you want to grab another item, and essentially this is the place that we're going to be living, or where you're going to be creating your little world and flying island. So with this new item, once again we want to create a sphere made out of sand, but this time we can do it at size number 3. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you go just on the inner part, because what's going to happen is if I click here by an accident, all of it is going to fall down. As you can see, we've just trimmed the edge, so you don't want to go really close to it. At this stage, we really want to stay on the inside of the island, making sure we have this gap, so we can basically conserve the basically to make sure we conserve these to make sure that we conserve this this outer area. So I'm just going to do this very quickly. And once you have built up this exterior area, you can switch back to a bigger brush, and you can fill in the middle once again, just like so. Okay, so now that we have this, what we can do is we can go again around the outside, but this time we can click on the sand, meaning we don't actually damage the stone, and we can build up on our edge, just like this, as you can see. And what we're going to do later is we're going to flatten it down with a brush called Smooth, so it's going to look nice and natural. But this is definitely going to help your islands look even more realistic and natural. And then what I like to do is I like to create some hills. So I think in this island, actually I really like this kind of structure, so I think I'm going to make a little hill here, and you can feel free to play with this. You don't have to follow me all my exact steps, but I'm going to make a little hill here, or like a little mountain. Make another one now. And this area, I really want to raise this up a little bit. I think we're going to create like maybe a stream, maybe a lake or something like this. And I would like this area to be a little bit higher so we can play with it. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this. So what we can do now is we can grab another item and we're going to use another brush. This one is called Smooth, and we're going to be using number 6 in this case. And what you want to do is literally just go around, just make sure you're careful around the edges so you don't deform the edges too much, but you just literally want to click once at a time and you want to go around just to make sure we level off the outer shape of the island. And as you can see, it is forming quite nicely. Some of the sand is going to fall down, don't worry about it too much. All we care about at this stage is to give the island a little bit of a better shape around the exterior, and as you can see we have come back to the original price, and now we can go full on heavy with smoothing the island. So I'm literally holding down right click right now and I'm just going over anything that I would like to make a little bit more smoother so it looks like vanilla Minecraft. So as you can see, we're all nice and smooth. I do want to add a few more details, just this little hill here. I do want to extend this one a little bit too, because I feel like it's a little bit empty here. And again, you can play with this as much as you want. You can create multiple hills, you can make it completely flat, and this is completely up to you and how you want to structure your world. But once you've done this, and I'm pretty happy with it as well, again, we want to make sure we select the entire island. So once again, I'm going to fly out, select position number 1. Then I'm going to fly to the opposite end and make sure we go slightly below the island to make sure we capture any of the sand that's below the surface. So we're going to select the second position. And I like to get a little bit closer to the island at this stage just to see what's going on. But we can now go replace sand, stone. So that this command is going to replace any sand blocks with stone, as you can see. And now, to make it look more natural, we can do overlay dirt. And what this is going to do is it's going to literally overlay a layer of dirt on top of stone, just like this. Now in vanilla Minecraft, there is usually 2 or 3 blocks of dirt, so we're going to do the same command once again and once again. And the last one, we want to change it to grass block. And as you can see, it's starting to look a lot more natural. What's on my mind right now is that, as you can see, this green color, it's not it's not very appealing, it's not too good looking. So what I like to do is I like to change the biome. So we can do /set biome, and I like to set it to plains. It really does look much more greener. So we're not going to see the change in the color just yet. Wait till we reload the game. But there is one more thing that I would like to do, which is flora. And what this does is it adds flora to your island. So grass and some roses and some dandelions. And it really does make it look more natural, in my opinion. And I do like to use this a couple more times, as you can see, and it really does start to take shape of a flying island. So we can have a quick look as to what our island looks like. And as you can see, it is quite big, it is quite chunky, but that's the good thing about it. Now, with every island, we do need some water. So what I usually like to do is just play with it a little bit. So in this case, we're going to place some water just down here. And again, this is completely up to you as to how big you would like to go. As you can see, it's quite easy and quick to create a small lake. And what you can do sometimes is create little paths for your water. So just by doing this and adding a few more water sources, we've just created a waterfall. And I really like those actually. One of my favorite things to do in Minecraft is actually waterfalls. And in this area, I'm going to do the same. And just like this, you've created another lake. Some of the trees I'm not going to spawn, some of them will. You just really have to try it out, see how it goes. And yeah, vegetation really makes the island feel much more alive. And it's really up to you with how heavy you want to go. I'm probably just going to keep it at this for now. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, so we've got a little forest. I'm probably going to add a few more trees just here. I think like this is a nice area for us to add them. Okay, I like this. So again, let's have a look what this looks like. So I do like this little empty area, so we're going to keep it like this. I like that you can see this little lake here. I will add some trees just in this corner. So actually, I like this split. I think I'm going to just add some jungle trees. And we can actually add a little bit of birch as well, just to really add a little bit of flavor. Again, not too much, but I will add probably one here, one just down here with the oak. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's see what the island looks like. So we have some spruce, we have some oak, we have a nice little waterfall down here with a small lake. We have another lake with another waterfall and water source coming from the mountain. To make these water bodies a little bit better looking, what I like to take is some bone meal once again and literally just add some greenery to this. As you can see, this looks much better, so we're going to do exactly the same thing with this little lake that we have over here. And you can go crazy on the outside to really make it look like there is more life around the water. One thing that I really like to do on flying islands is to create some kind of platform to really understand where the player came from, or it really gives you a sense that there's another island somewhere. And what I like to do is just literally a little tiny platform to the outer part of the island, just like this. And obviously, again, you can do this with any other blocks if you'd like. And something very simple. You don't have to go crazy with this, but it really adds an idea that someone came to this island. Maybe they dropped you off, but it really gives a sense that there is something out there. So I like leaving details like this. Let's maybe make it a little bit more accessible, just like that. Yeah, cool. So we have an island, we have some kind of forests, but in the Minecraft, you need a place to mine, right? So we can create some caves as well. And the best way to do it is to grab another tool, once again. In this case, I'm going to grab a stick, and we want to use a brush made out of air with size 3. And I would like my cave to begin, let's say, in this little hill here. So I'm literally going to right click, and as you can see, it's going to create a cave, which looks quite realistic in my opinion. But of course, if you wanted to see a little bit better, we can do /effect, give to the player, and we want night vision, and we want to, let's say, give ourselves nearly 100,000. So with this, you can feel free to basically just fly around. You can go up, you can go down, you can go to the left, and feel free to just make as much space as you want. Sometimes you can do something like this to the side, off in another area, and as you can see, we've reached the outer area, which can actually be quite interesting for some players. And just how we have started to dig down, we can also dig into the mountain from the outside. And if you're going to be digging for long enough, as you can see, we've connected to our previous tunnel. what I really like to do sometimes is to go around the spike as well, as you can see. So it allows the player to reach the bottom by literally just going around. And the reason why I like it so much is because they can actually explore and see what's going on the outside here. So I'm gonna join this spike and I'm gonna keep on creating a cave. As you can see, there is a whole cave system now. Obviously, it's not massive in this area, but again, you can keep on building more and more and more. And as you can see, there will be some monsters spawning down below. So it really does turn into a little adventure island at this point. So what else can we do to make this island even better? One thing I like to do to add a little bit of greenery to those spikes here is to create a brush. Once again, sphere size 2, and I want to do 10% oak. Sphere, we want to go 10% oak log, 90% oak leaves, and we want to go size 2, and we want to do mask air. So what the mask is going to do is, let's say if I click here, as you can see, the grass block didn't get damaged. We only just placed this greenery in the corner. Actually, 2 is a bit too big, so let's go with 1. So let's do brush unbind, and let's do number 1 again. Yeah, and let's do mask air. So in this case, as you can see, we can create some vines going around the island, which can be quite interesting. We can go right through here next to our little next to our little platform. So what the logs are going to do is they're going to stop the leaves from despawning, and the leaves do actually look like vines a little bit. And again, with those vines, we can make them go up onto the land as well, but we can also curl them around. Let's make a little trail, and again, we're going to be using the brush feature of WorldEdit, and once again, we're going to go with sphere, and we're going to do 20% gravel. We're going to do 80% dirt path, and we're going to go with size 2, and once again we're going to mask the grass block. So essentially, if we click, as you can see, the only thing that changes is the grass block, and we don't get like a random sphere up above. The one thing actually that I forgot to change, so let's unbind for a second. The one thing that we can change here is if we make gravel, let's say 10%, the path, let's make it 30%. So that leaves us with 40% of potential here. So the 40% we can do as grass block. So this basically gives us, oh, my bad, undo, and mask grass block. So what this does, if I'm going to click here, as you can see, these grass blocks haven't changed. So this really lets us fade this path a little bit, as you can see. So it looks much more natural, and yeah, it looks much better than this part because there is a little bit more, there is a few more grass blocks. So I'm going to create another path going around here, just there, yeah, and I am pretty happy with it. Of course, you can go much more crazy. You can build a castle here, some dungeons, anything that you want. The last thing that we can add to this island is ores, so you can actually go mining. So once again, we're going to choose first position. We're going to fly over to the opposite side, all the way down, and we're going to select position 2. Now we have to come back to the original position, and we're going to be adding some ores. Now the way to do it is we're going to replace some of these stone blocks with actual ores, and we're going to do this in the following way. So let's do / replace stone, and we want to replace it with 1% coal ore and 99% stone. So basically 99% of stone that we see in front of us is going to stay as stone. And we can click this a few more times. And as you can see, we have some coal ores. Now we want to go down a little bit. So let's go down to this level and we want to select position 1 again. This time, we're going to change the block to iron ore. Let me just correct this. So if you want to see a little bit better what you're doing, again, you can give yourself the night vision effect. And as you can see, we have some iron ore. So what I like to do is I like to go into the island and see. So I've got 1 ore here, there's 1 there, 1 there. So there is enough for the player to get some resources, which is good. And then we can go down a little bit more again, but this time much lower. And again, we can select the first position. And now we can change the iron ore to gold as an example, gold ore. And we can click this a few times. We can change it to lapis. We can also change it to redstone. Redstone ore. And if we go even lower, actually we can add emerald as well. Why not? Let's go all the way. Okay, and if we go lower, all the way down here, so it's more challenging for the player. We select first position, and we want to do some diamond ore. And I really do like to spam it a little bit, but when we go down to the tip of this island, we can replace it. Let's again change position. Yep. And at this stage, we can add iron block. And I'm just clicking this a few times. And as you can see, there are some diamond blocks just at the bottom. So when we actually fly up, you can see there's a lot of resources. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult for the player to get down here. But this is a playable, vanilla-like Minecraft world. And everything that we can add is some water. So this looks quite nice, in my opinion, and it also allows the player to catch himself in case he's falling. I do like to add a few streams here and there. But again, this is just one example, and I would like to show you what you can do with a little bit more time, a little bit more practice. I want to show you what islands you can create. So let's go and see some of my projects. So we're going to start with the biggest one that I've worked on. So as you can see, this one is much bigger. The nice thing that you can do when you really create a world of flying islands is, like in this example, as you can see, we have a landing pad here, and I've created it so it's a little bit damaged. We have a little island here, as you can see. There is a little structure underneath for the player, and we have a room with a map. As you can see, this is the whole world, so it really is quite big. And just to give you a point of reference, this island that we are currently sitting on is this one little island here. So you can really see how massive this entire world is. And this is basically a starter island. From this island, you can jump down into this lake. Let me just give you an example. So from here, you can jump down. Obviously, it gives the player more room to explore. I've added also a stream just to make it a little bit easier for the first few days. But honestly, once you get to the main island, as you can see, I've added some pathways and some paths for the player to explore. There's multiple lakes, multiple streams. There's plenty of things to explore. As you can see, there is a massive lake here. And again, I've created this lake by using exactly the same technique that I showed you a little bit earlier. We also have some bigger trees to really create an atmosphere that this island is huge and has a lot of potential. We have massive mountains. And again, this is something you can do. I've showed you exactly how to create mountains out of stone, out of sand, sorry. And this is the same method that I was using here. Just to fly around a little bit, as you can see. So we had a birch forest, we have an oak forest, we have a spruce forest here. And I do like to add some occasional structure, like in this example, I've built a small castle. At least I wanted it to look like a castle. When you go in, mm, there is some food, there are some covers, there are some beds, and these are fully functional. So you can go down, you can also go up, as you can see. So you can make this your starter home again if you'd like. Again, it doesn't have to be a starter home, but it's an option. And I really like to get creative with these. I really like to get creative with these. Here I've created two lakes. Then we have a bigger lake over there. And what really adds to the flying islands, what really adds nice atmosphere to the flying islands is when you add islands at different height levels. So as you can see, if I'm a player, from this perspective, this looks like a normal Minecraft single player game. But when you see islands like this, that's really when you remember you're actually on a flying island. And you can see just how many spikes there are. And what I wanted to show you is how many cave systems. And as you can see, honestly, the amount of options here to play and explore are endless. This is one of my favorite structures, literally a single mountain on its own, surrounded by a circular lake that blends in with a birch forest. And here I've tried something different. I tried to create like some kind of granite and andesite beach. And once again, we have a big lake, we have another waterfall, and as you can see, the shape of the lake really adds onto the feel of this island because it doesn't look handmade, it looks very natural, it looks very Minecraft-like. And what I wanted to show you is the amount of caves that I've added to this game. Obviously, you can't see as much because it's dark. Let me just add some night vision. But as you can see, there are plenty of caves, so you really can explore a lot. And there are multiple ores. And again, the deeper you go, the more ores you can find. So it really does look like a typical vanilla experience. But let me show you some other things. So like in this area, I've had this large gap. So once again, I've added some smaller islands. They're nothing crazy, nothing amazing, but again, when you're down here and you can see even this view, I think it looks amazing. And when you see the size of these islands, the amount of caves, I think it's very interesting and it really makes you want to play Minecraft in a different way. Here, again, just another example of what you can do. I thought that this it looks like a dried out lake. As you can see, we have some coral fans and some other dead coral and also some dead bushes. And it looks like there used to be a lake some time ago and just went dry. So we'll just go over into this area a little bit as well. So we have dark oak forest, and we have multiple small islands as well. We also have another massive lake, this time with an island in the middle with a lot of flowers, a lot of bees. So really a little bee island over here. What I was telling you about is how you can create some additional features. Like as an example, a lot of players like to fish, and this was my favorite fishing place. And it would be my favorite fishing place if I was to play here. Over here, we have a sand biome, or a desert biome, I should have said, with some big cactuses. We have a temple and so on. And if we come back to the middle section, you can see that there is a little village. And again, this is nothing crazy. I literally copied these homes from a single player. So these are exact same villages that you would have found in a single player Minecraft game. So yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it does add to to the feeling of this game. And honestly, when you have a view like this, I feel like it does really make the game worthy of playing. We have, again, just to make it feel like vanilla, I've added this Archer Tower, is it called? I don't even remember anymore. Pillager Tower. Um, so yeah, so you can also fight some dungeons. Um, and yeah, there's plenty to do. But let's go to another island so I can show you what other projects you could do. So this is another example. This is one of my favorite worlds that I've built. So again, we have the same design with thicker vines. Again, we have this landing platform, a massive lake in the middle. But in this case, I've built this little arch. Honestly, I think I was building this at like 3 a.m. When I was doing this project, but it's really cozy for some reason, and yeah, it gave me a lot of fun when I was doing it. And just over in this corner, if you follow the footpath with some lovely bushes on the side, you will get to a little villager side of the island. And instead of having normal homes, they live in tents. So something a little bit different. So honestly, be creative and yeah, create what you like. And the other thing that I really like in this little building projects is I've added these waterfalls. But as you can see, they fall down and they create small 1 block narrow rivers, and they fall off the island. And same in this situation here. We just go over. We have a waterfall that goes down into this small lake, and then again this river goes all the way down and falls off the island. I feel like it's a nice touch, and yeah. Let me know in the comments what kind of ideas you're going to use in your flying island. And just to show you the last example, this is another small island project. Again, we have one bigger mountain. We've got a lake in the middle with 2 smaller islands. We have some flat area to build a house. Then we have this little cave with the waterfall coming down. So really, the solutions. So really, the options for you are endless, and you can really build whatever you like, however you like. And the best thing is that it's as simple as changing the game mode to survival and starting to play a game here. This is honestly, you can collect some wood, you can get some food, you can find some seeds, and there is honestly nothing from stopping you to build a house in this area and try to survive. So, thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something interesting today. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments and let me know what words you're going to be building. Thank you, and see you in the next video.